If he said it once, Johnny, he said it 100 times.
You're listening to the Johny Pach Show, where I connect you to the most influential, masterful minds of this generation. We're gaining insight into their lives, their achievements, and the stories along the way. Stick around if you too are determined to succeed. Okay, guys, now look. Welcome to my guest. Now today, we have the former 17-year president, CEO of Zimmerman Advertising. This is a $3 billion marketing powerhouse based in South Florida, and it's part of the Omnicom company. This gentleman is driven to marketing and business executive with proven success in building a client's brand whilst driving next day sales. A marketing philosophy he refers to as brand tailoring. His position was all about outcome versus output. He's all about client profitability compared to other agencies who just care about advertising awards. It's bloody ridiculous. But anyway, look, guys, welcome my guest, Patregnani. How you doing, buddy?
Johnny, I'm doing great, buddy. But how do I get that accent? I love the accent.
Do you know what? I was kind of like waffling on there, and I kind of, back in my mind, I was like, I sound like Jordan Belfort. We're doing a bit with him at the moment, and I think it's kind of like rubbing off. But are you doing well, buddy? Like, tell me, what's isolation like in Florida? It must be lovely. Are you going to the beaches?
It's terrible, Johnny, as I'm sure it is there and everywhere else around the world.
Yeah.
A little bit worse here in Florida because I actually live right on the beach. And right now we're quarantined, not able to use the beach, not able to use the pool.
No.
You got this beautiful sunshine out there. And this is the greatest time of the year in Florida. I mean, it's like 75 to 85, perfect weather. But, you know, listen, we all got to do our part and get through this, right?
Absolutely, buddy. Like, are you, I hope the family are all okay and isolation's good for you. You're doing what you can. Family's
good. It kind of great in a way because all three daughters are back home from college.
Oh, that's nice. Nice family time with the fam. And you're kind of trying to do a little bit of work away from making your lovely lamb on Easter Sunday. Looked like you had a very nice Easter. Thanks for the pictures.
You're welcome.
Pat, right. I mean, look, let's get straight into this, okay? I'm going to ask you a couple of random questions. Now, look, successful businessman like yourself, you've headed up some unbelievable companies in your time. You are not shy of success yourself. For the listeners back home, from your words, what does it take to be successful?
Never quit attitude, Johnny. If I could sum it up, I've had some great influences in my life. One of them being my father, God rest his soul, was a very, very inspirational part of my life. He, if he said it once, Johnny, he said it 100 times.
Right.
Don't be a follower. Be a leader. Be a leader. Don't be a follower. You know, and those words sang home. And, you know, throughout my life, I've been very fortunate to have been mentored and have influences. And I think probably another one that was very influential in my life was my basketball coach. His motto was winners never quit and quitters never win. And being an undefeated team throughout my high school years, I learned that attitude. And it was no matter what, you win. You win. And I would have to say there's one other kind of a philosophy that's been pretty cool in my life. And I forget who actually came up with this quote. But it's kind of like, I want to be the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like making sure you surround yourself with the right people that understand the objectives, your vision, and where you want to go.
I like that. And you're kind of, to be the dumbest person in the room, you're going to ask as many questions as you can. And you're going to be learning and absorbing all of that information as much as you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I really like that. Tell me this. If you knew what you know now 20 years ago, what would you change?
I probably would have invested more in land.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't we have all?
Yeah.
Sure. You know, it's hard to kind of pin that down, Johnny. You know, I think we could all say that if we, you know, knew now or knew then what we know now, I think it would have had an impact on our lives. But I'm not so sure, Johnny, that life doesn't have its own path, its own journey that gets you to where you are today. So I kind of believe in a way that even if I knew then what I know now, would I be in the same path? Would have I reached the same successes? Because I kind of believe in that the failures, the successes, the challenges, the hurdles, all those things get you to where you are today.
Absolutely.
So I've kind of lived with a philosophy of let's not look back. Okay. Let's just move forward.
I really like that. You're very much like myself. You take me as quite a spiritual guy. And I'm all about that. Everything absolutely happens for a reason. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. You know what? Right. I want to get right into this because I'm excited to hear about your career. Tell me, a $3 billion powerhouse agency of Zimmerman Advertising. I mean, I would love for that success of next generation in a couple of years. Firstly, where did it all begin? And how did you get into advertising? I mean, every job there is out there, you could have been an astronaut and you picked advertising. What inspired you to do this?
That's a great question, Johnny. It actually began in my high school years when I was actually an art major, and my fancy was to pursue a career in commercial art. But then when I kind of looked up what a commercial artist made versus the CEO of a major ad agency, I decided to travel the road of the business side of marketing, which is actually pretty cool because, you know, it gives me that left and right brain approach to marketing. But it really got started my first year in college. I had a great friend back home, grew up in a small town, very close-knit friends. And one of them had decided to start up a catering company.
Okay.
And we were talking one day on the phone. I was off to college, and he had mentioned to me too that, and he says, look, he says, you're in marketing, you know, can you give me any ideas? And I said, buddy, I just started. I'm in year one. I mean, what do you know? I'm taking basic courses here. And, but I did, I took a shot at it. And actually, I kind of patterned it. And I remember during that time, Calvin Klein, I'm kind of dating myself here.
Yeah.
Calvin Klein was an incredible brand. You know, they were a top shelf. And I say that in respect to the catering business. I actually came up with the name Top Shelf Catering for my buddy's business.
Great.
And I thought that signified quality, service, leadership, you know, different. And those became his attributes. And we actually built the business plan. I wish I had a copy of it to this day. I'd have to laugh at it probably. Brilliant. But that's where it got started. And obviously it was successful. He's been in business for 35 years. He's well known as an industry leader in the Northeast New York area and has done very well.
Wow.
So that's where it got started, Johnny. I've never looked back since.
I love that. Such an amazing story. So grounded as well. And then, so the year that you joined Zimmerman, and what year was that? How did that kind of all come about?
Well, initially, John, right after college, I pretty much started up my own agency. At the time, I was living in Orlando, Florida, started up my own agency, was doing fairly well. And one of my greatest competitors was actually Jordan Zimmerman of Zimmerman Advertising.
Fantastic.
And I, over the course of my first year, I had stolen 3 accounts from him. Next thing I know, my secretary's on the phone, and she said, well, my administrator, let's be politically correct here. My administrator said, hey, Jordan Zimmerman's on the phone for you. So I pick up the phone. I'm like, oh, boy, here we go. So he said, look, why don't we get together and talk? Because, you've stolen 3 of my accounts. What's going on here? He said, if you're that good, damn it. He said, we need to get together and talk. So I did. And I came to Fort Lauderdale, and I met with Jordan. And he looked like the singer Bolton with the long hair down to his shoulders. And we met. He introduced me we spent the whole day together. He introduced me to a lot of the people at the agency. And it just instantly felt like a perfect connection, not only with Jordan, but the executive team that was in place at the time. And it was from there, we just shook hands, and I moved myself and my wife at the time to Fort Lauderdale, and we started at it.
That's fantastic. I love that. Now tell me then, so you're at Zimmerman now, you're loving life, you're really getting along with Jordan, and I bet you're a real powerhouse unit by then. I want to know about Zimmerman. Obviously you're gonna tell us about the success, but I want to know about the nitty-gritty, the highs, the lows, the challenges, and then the success.
Well, if any of your audience has ever been to Disney, there's a ride that's called Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Okay. If that gives you the image, there you go. We're about to get into a journey of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Right.
It was so many things wrapped up into one, Johnny. It was amazing. It was challenging. It was rewarding. It was an exciting time in my career. I got to lead some really smart people and really take on some great brands. And we built a very successful business, quite frankly, 1,200 miles from the marketing mecca of New York City.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, that was our biggest challenge, was finding, the gene pool, the talent of marketing experts. In New York, you make lateral moves or up moves or in some cases down moves, but that talent's always moving around. In Florida, we didn't have that. I mean, we were the agency, you know what I mean? So we really had to bring in very, very young and right out of college in some cases, or 1 or 2 years experience, maybe at a local smaller shop.
What do you look for?
And mentor them.
I was just going to intercept. What do you kind of, back then, what did you kind of look for in terms of that talent? Who was the ideal candidate for yourself?
You hired on attitude, not skill. So it was all about attitude.
Great.
And Johnny, we were, in some cases called a sweatshop. Okay. I mean, it was 24/7, 365, buddy. I mean, my phone rang at 4 a.m, or it could ring at midnight or 2 a.m. Whatever it was, you better answer that phone in 3 rings because there's a problem with the client. Okay. But you have to be that responsive in today's world. Back then, even more so in today's world, because other agencies are nipping at your heels to get in the door.
For sure.
And the second part of that, Johnny, was that the only way we could get recognized or considered, I should say, was to really have a position that stood out. Okay. And that position was we overpromised like hell. You came to us,
Right.
your brand was in trouble. Okay. So we ended up with a lot of brands that were in trouble. All right.
Got it.
And we had to overpromise. We were that lifesaver. Okay. We were that safe harbor, that lifeline. And so once you overpromise to get the deal, all right, you got to overdeliver. You got to exceed expectations. You just can't meet expectations and believe that you're going to keep a client more than a year or 2 years at best. So it was all about, overpromising, over-delivering, and then stay focused on the bottom line. All right. That was the whole key to us. We were, in the Allison Fisher funnel, it starts at the top at awareness and goes down the funnel to familiarity, consideration, trial, purchase. We focused on that purchase, and we can talk about that in time here. What our philosophy was and how that worked for us. Okay.
Hey, Pat, are you a big fan of Grant Cardone?
No.
I was going to say, it very much sounds like the 10X attitude, as where he'll bring an investor on and he will literally treat that investor like it's a member of his family. And he will go 10X over and above to obviously supply that client, that investor, to the best of their ability. And as you were describing there about your services and how you client serviced your clients, it very much sounded like the same thing. So that's why I kind of wanted to ask if you like his attitude and the way he works.
Well, Johnny, obviously over my career, I've met many different kinds of people, come across many different kinds of solution providers. And I look at not necessarily what they're saying, but the results beyond. There's a lot of cliches out there in the world. There really is, Johnny.
Yeah.
I think the word less spoken and let your results speak for itself. Okay. I think he's a great motivator. I think he inspires a lot of people. But I kind of put him over in this category where, he's giving hope to some of the hopeless.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where I want to provide results to those that need results. See, is that making sense to you, Johnny?
For sure. And it really leads me on now to kind of establishing who are your biggest clients at Zimmerman?
Well, we had several. We were handling tier 2 marketing and tier 1 marketing for Nissan, Party City, Papa John's, and many, many others, well-notable brands. One of my favorites was White Castle because we got a free box of White Castle burgers every year. But in every case, like? Johnny, yeah, right?
Do they taste nice? Like they always kind of take the mickey out of White Castle on many films, but are they good burgers or what?
Yeah, oh yeah, they're great. They're the sliders. They're the slider special, buddy.
Brilliant.
So in each case, Johnny, with the brands I just noted, there was always a problem, a situation.
Yes.
Nissan, when they came to us, they were $6 billion in the hole. Charles Ghosn had just come in on board. The cash incentives to buy a Nissan car were at an average of $3,700 cash incentive to the consumer. In fact, when we came on, they were giving away trucks free for a year. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
Compared to its competitive set, Toyota was at the same time $1,700 cash incentive, and I think Honda was $1,200 at the time.
Wow.
So you can see the desperation there, right? So we had to work collaboratively with the executive teams at Nissan to put value back into the Nissan brand. And the short of it is, within a 5-year period, with Ghosn, with their team, with the Nissan team, in collaboration with us and TBWA Chiat out of New York, we all worked together on that account. We went from a $6 billion red ink to a $9 billion profit by year 5.
Fantastic.
The other great one, which is really a great story, is Papa John's. When John Schneider came to us, it was because we were representing several district Papa John's, and a few of them that we were representing on a tier 2 level were realizing 700% comps from year over year.
Right.
And John Schneider, his whole rollout company business was really in dire straits. I mean, the franchisees were revolting. The stock was plummeting. He was like threw his keys on the boardroom table at our agency and said, "If you can't save me, I'm done." And he had paid $2 million for a McKinsey segmentation study. I was asked to go through it. I did. I said McKinsey was wrong. He wanted to segment Papa John's into the cheap eater segment. I said Pizza Hut and the other top ones will bury you and you won't be able to compete. So we went more to the specialty pizza. If you remember, the meatball pizza, the shrimp pizza, the buffalo chicken wing pizza.
Fantastic.
And then we added to that brand ordering online. And over the course of time, rescued the brand, brought the stock up. The value was incredible. Franchisees were loving it. And our online business went from 0 to 50 million in the first year.
That's
and the
unbelievable.
average expenditure by the consumer was $17 versus $12 over a phone-in order.
Okay.
So at Zimmerman, like I said, you know, we got a lot of tough brands and tough assignments. And that's what we built our brand off of, was turning these companies around from a marketing position.
Hey, let me ask you this, right, Pat? You've got clients like Nissan. Well, we call it Nissan here. Papa John's. Now they are approaching you guys. Well, you're kind of getting connected with them when they're kind of getting in the hole. Now, big clients like that are spending hundreds of thousands with you guys, and they're kind of giving you their, well, let's say their last piece of the pie, their last marketing budget. Now, tell me, when a client is under pressure like that, coming on board with you guys, are they more demanding? Are they more needy? Are they more high maintenance? And how do you cope with that?
Well, first of all, Johnny, what was at risk was millions from a budget standpoint of view. So the responsibility and the accountability was extremely high.
Okay.
Fortunately, because of our retail prowess and our DNA as an agency, and the leadership of both Jordan, myself, and a few others on the executive team, we lived, eat, and breathe results.
Yes.
So we were used to already high maintenance accounts, from the local accounts all the way up to regional accounts and to many other national accounts as well. So we were used to that. Now, the key to the success to that is to get ahead of the curve, Johnny. We didn't wait for them to call us. We would speak to our clients every day.
Yes.
All right. So Jordan, you know, we kind of divide and conquer. Jordan would have incredible relationships with his partners and clients, and I would take on the others. And every morning on the way to work, you would talk to them, say, okay, how are we doing? We're looking at your numbers. We think we should do this. So if you stay ahead of the curve and build that kind of relationship with the client, they trust you. They trust you. All right. And they believe in you. And in doing so, they're going to be a little bit more forgiving. All right. In terms of the time it's going to take to get the kind of results. But we weren't reactionary. We were not a reactionary company at all. We were proactive every single day. In fact, we would talk to our clients on Saturday, sometimes not about business, but what are you doing for, you know, you playing golf today? Or
so
what are you, you know, so our relationships expanded beyond the agency world, which was good. That was good for us.
Yeah. No, it's all about that client holding their hand, guiding them through it. No, absolutely. Well, we try and do that here at Next Generation. I mean, you know what it's like. Clients like Moonshot, for example, won't go into it. But, you know, some of these guys, they spend a lot of money with you, and it's very hard to kind of not manage their expectations, but to be on the other end of the phone every waking minute, and holding their hands to such a degree. It can be quite tiresome, I've got to say. But you've got to love it. They're spending great money with you. We're very much results driven as well. So you just have to grind through that, and you have to deliver the results that you've promised. That's what it's all about.
Well, Johnny, if you keep things in perspective, okay, a marketer has a lot of responsibility, and it's far beyond just the bottom line, okay? Obviously, the bottom line feeds into everything else. But if you read the book Gung Ho by Ken Blanchard, it's all about worthwhile work. And you got to realize at the other end of that financial statement are families, children, staff, shareholders.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility that a true marketer has to look at today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And unfortunately, I don't see that happening in today's world. There may be a few exceptions I'm unaware of, but so much emphasis is just put on output and awards and Clios and Lions. And, damn it, at the end of the day, you're putting food on somebody's table.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. I love it how you worded that. Tell me, Pat, what's a campaign that really sticks out in your mind? And it was a brief that you got, and you delivered it. You delivered it unbelievably, and you kind of look back on it and think that was just that was great. That was such a great advert. That was such a great campaign that we produced there. Does anything kind of spring to mind for you?
Well, we really didn't look at it in terms of campaigns. Okay. And that's important to note from our position and from what my philosophy and Jordan and what we've grown up with. We were about brand tailing.
Yes.
Okay. And that's a philosophy that is about building brand over time, but yet being responsible to drive next day sales. Let me give you an example of that. Okay. Your tier one agency, a TVWA, a BBD&O, your tier one agencies, right? They're going to pick out the attributes of the brand and create some brand value. Okay. But at the end of the day, what does the ultimate consumer want to know? What do I got to pay? What's it going to cost me to buy this product or use this service? Correct? Right? So that is one of the reasons we were so successful with Nissan. And that campaign, if you want to call it a campaign, was incredible.
Okay.
Because it was a two-tiered approach. Nissan, or TVWA, which was the parent agency of Nissan, they handled all the tier one marketing, okay, which is buy this, okay? It's all about that product, right? Yeah. Building the value in the product, right? What's your positioning? With Nissan, it was performance, okay? That was their key attribute, all right? Mm-hmm. So they would take performance and market the overall brand attributes, whereas we would come in and take the tier two and from a national level and say, okay, not only do you get this great performance, but right now, lease with no money down, no payments for 90 days. That's what we call the hook, okay?
Yeah.
That's why brand tailing is so strategically important for brands, okay? The last thing I'm going to note on this is this, all right? Most, and probably a lot of your audience, and it's pretty common that business owners, entrepreneurs, believe that their brand is built by marketing and advertising. Nothing could be further from the truth. Okay? That brand is built the minute that consumer enters your threshold to your business, meets your first staff, buys your product and is happy with your product, uses your service, and has an experience that is a wow factor.
The user journey, gotcha.
So our job is nothing more to do than to position the brand. But the equity and the success of your brand starts with you, the CEO, the COO, the sales manager, the administrator, every touch point in that brand, okay? And that is so even more so critically important today, Johnny, than it was back then because of social media. The old rule, if you're happy, you tell 3 people. If you're not, you tell 10.
Yeah.
So you better be focused on that experience today more than your marketing, more than anything. A great experience will overcome no marketing, okay? A bad experience can't be marketed to win. Make sense?
Absolutely love it. Do you know what? It was kind of bringing me on to my next question as well. Yes, you're absolutely right. A lot of our audience are entrepreneurs, startup businesses, and that type of thing. And I wanted to actually ask you, is there a perfect marketing strategy, for anybody looking to start up their business?
No. I'm very unfiltered, and I'm just going to take you right to the no. There's no perfect, okay? There's no zeros, there's no 100s. and I kind of refer to it as the Darwinism of marketing, an evolution of marketing, which indicates that what we did yesterday probably won't work today. And I can almost assure you it ain't going to work tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
This Darwinism is evolving at the speed of light. Okay.
Yep.
Think about a short while ago, who was Facebook's audience? College kids. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not that far along where all of a sudden now the average Facebook is 35 years old plus, right? Let's go a step further. Facebook isn't even a social marketing platform anymore. All right. It's a hate venue. It's a hate venue, and it's a marketing medium today.
Yeah.
Facebook is what TV was 20 years ago. Okay. So there is nothing perfect, Johnny. What I do recommend is that to all businesses, okay, always look at your competitive set. Who's winning? Who's not? Who's doing the best job? Okay. So if I got a restaurant here and, you know, a mile or two down the road or 3 miles down the road or 7 miles down the road, there's a guy with kind of the same kind of fare, restaurant, what he's serving within the same zip code area. So dealing with the same kind of clientele, customers. Why is his business off the charts? And why am I sitting here only turning my tables once, twice, instead of 3, 4 times? You have to look at what are they doing on social media?
Yeah.
What are they doing? What's their experience like, right?
Yeah.
So you really got to look to the competitive set. And as an agency under our brand, Zella Agency, that's the first thing we do. We look at the competitive set's websites, their social media, their content, what they're saying, what they're doing. We really investigate that and then provide that input to our client with, here's how we can become better, right?
Got you.
But it's a constant evolution, Johnny. There's no perfect answer today.
No, for sure. Look, Pat, I know that you're a social media marketing guru right now.
Well, can I stop you there?
Yeah, go on.
I actually want to give the credit for the social. Now, I'm a strategic guy, right? So I know how to do the research and figure out what the strategy is. But my partner, Alex Sepkowski, a communications marketing graduate from Lynn University in Boca, who's now been my partner for going on 5 or 6 years, I think now. And he's actually on listening in here. He's
Alex,
the man.
Give a shout out.
Yeah, thanks,
Alex,
Pat.
you there?
Yeah, thanks, Pat. Loving the show so far. And yeah, thanks for that shout out, Pat. I mean, with his direction, it really makes my job very simple. But like I said, thanks for the shout out.
Hey, Alex, let me ask you a question, right? You guys are obviously very good at what you do with social media marketing. Can you tell us, why is social media marketing so inconsistent? It's some days you get very, very good results, and then other days, let's say the lead generation comes through and it's not at its strongest. It's not at the high quality that we need. Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, one thing you can look at is kind of what's going on in the world, kind of like today. You know, everyone's stuck at home, working from home. They can't leave their homes because of the pandemic that's going on.
Yeah.
So that tells us everyone's going to be on social media, and everyone's going to be on their phones. So, you know, you kind of want to look at what's going on in the world or different areas of the world, depending on who your target is, and go from there.
Okay, no, absolutely. What would you say is the best kind of way to advertise on social media? Is it videos? Is it pictures? Is it kind of blog text information?
Well, it's kind of hard to answer that. You know, it depends what you're going for. Are you going for, you know, just page followers? Or are you going for hard leads? It all has to, you know, pretty much depend on what you're going for. But in our experience, to get, you know, the most bang for your buck would be videos. You know, if you put a video up, you can really tell if they're interested or not. And you can really tell a story over, you know, 30 seconds or a minute to really capture the audience you're going after.
Tell me this then. What's the ideal video for our clients? What would they include within this video?
So one big mistake in video is a lot of people tend to do is they just put, voiceover and think people are going to listen. But a lot of times when you're watching social content, you're using the bathroom, you're sitting at your desk, and you can't necessarily have sound playing. So what we tell our clients and what we do for our clients is we kind of put the illustration in as copy
Text
within the video.
Yeah. For sure. We do the same thing. We find that gets absolutely the best response. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
You could be sitting there on the loo, just having a little scroll on your feed, and then you're seeing, IPO returns 9% per annum, etc., etc. Click it out. It works.
It does. It does work. Yep.
It's effective. And then just finally, before I get back to Pat, and it's great to have you on, by the way.
Thanks for including me.
Where would you say gets the most traction in terms of response and lead generation through social media marketing? In which country? Are there some countries that perform better than others? What do you think?
Well, again, that goes back to the target, and it goes back to what we're selling or what we're looking for. But it depends on the message, and I can't really think of one country that stands out more than another. Like I said, it really all depends on what you have to offer and what you're selling.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I will give you one example on that, Johnny.
Yeah.
Currently, we're in the middle. One of our divisions is called Wolf Partners.
Yeah.
And that's a business that does capital raises
for
pre-IPOs and entrepreneurs and startups and people with ideas that believe they have something that can be marketable and raise capital for. So we're currently doing 3 capital raises on social media, and the results have been outstanding.
Wow.
For example, we launched one 2 days ago for a company called Hydrenesis.
Okay.
And we actually did a boost and a paid ad to one was to Australia, one was to Asia, one was to UK, Euro, and then one to USA, okay. Right? And at this particular time, and this is the third raise now we're seeing this, Asia, predominantly India, has been off the charts. I mean, and our target's been angel investors in high wealth. And just in the less than 48 hours from launching this particular capital raise, we have reached over 26,000 angel investors, of which we've had 596 clicks to learn more. Okay. Of that, we received 140 investors who showing interest. Of that, 50 have actually watched a full 7-minute webinar.
Okay.
And that company is currently in discussions with 10 different private investors for their raise. They called us this morning ecstatic. Fantastic. So Alex is absolutely correct that it depends. For capital raise, I can assure you right now, between email and social media, I would be targeting Asia.
That's fantastic. And no, what fantastic results. And those ads that you've been promoting out there to investors, they're video ads, right? With text overlays?
Well, actually, we've been a little bit more still photo on these. We've got some videos that are out there, but for your audience, they can go to our Facebook, which is Wolf Partners, and see the kind of posting we're due. But we Alex and I lean on Alex for this. Our imagery, for the most part, is out of the box imagery. Yeah, because that's the key. If you're not going to do video, that imagery and a short piece of copy. All right. And I'll give you a good example of someone that I think is very successful, and you probably know of them, Motley Fool. Motley Fool uses, they use real wild imagery, right?
Yeah.
And then one little tease line. And we've been kind of following that same suit. But again, we have done some videos as well.
It's like the Punch and Judy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to have that imagery. In marketing today, you can't be safe. You have to be courageous, courageous, out of the box. Okay. Yeah. That imagery, like this morning, we posted nothing but a big sign that said hot, just said hot with an exclamation point, right? And then the line was hottest stock of the day, pre-IPO, watch our webinar. That's it. That's it. And we've already had 15 views since 8:00 this morning.
That's fantastic. Are you kind of qualifying the investor onto the landing page? Are you putting any kind of qualifying questions in there or anything?
You know, that's another very good question. You have to have a landing page.
Yeah.
Investors, like anybody else today, their patience is about as long as that of a gnat.
For sure.
Okay. So, you get them to the landing page. You just give them enough content like, boom, okay, I get it. I can read this whole landing page in less than 7 seconds. Yes. All right. Then the webinar is right there. So it's all about taking them through the funnel. All right. Or the purchase journey. The purchase journey is very important today because of validation and credibility. Yeah. Right. So we get them into the funnel, into the landing page. From there, we feed them the webinar. Right. Now, if you're more interested, and chances are you're going to go one of two directions, Johnny. You're either going to go to the Facebook to see the kind of reviews or what's going on socially with them, correct? Yeah. Then or you're going to go to the website for credibility. Okay, are these guys real? Okay. So now all different services, all different products, their purchase journeys can change a little bit. Blogs, PR, this, that, but they're going to check you out today. So it's important. In the Allison Fisher funnel today, compared to what it was just 10 years ago, 10 years ago was 80% sales, 20% marketing. Today, the Allison Fisher funnel is 80% marketing, 20% sales.
Right. Due
to the competition and the amount of social media today.
That's fantastic and very engaging stuff there, Pat. Let me ask you, okay, would you say that the best kind of marketing solution out there is possibly social media? And I'm comparing this to TV advertising in America is massive. Direct mail, email marketing, PPC lead generation. Would you say that for our industry, our investment clients that we have on board, would you say that social media marketing is going to be the best solution?
Well, I never like to look at anything as one. Yeah. Okay. Again, it's all budget permitting, right? Budget permitting. So, the Q impressions of two mediums versus one is always much better. Okay. But number one, you have to have some social presence. Okay. That has to be there. That's got to be your foundation today. So all right. True. Now, is it the ultimate driver? Probably not. Okay. The next best thing we look to, or actually in parallel, is emails. Emails today still have one of the highest return of investment of any other medium out there. And it's highly trackable, analytical, managed, measured, the whole bit. So when we put a plan together, Alex, myself, and Ed Weaver, another one of our partners who is on the technology side of our business. Yeah. Okay. We kind of take more of a holistic view. Okay. And say, okay, we know we got to be here. We got to be here. Okay. Now, what else can we do? All right. Now, in the business of capital raise, I surely can't buy television worldwide. Okay. But emails, I can definitely acquire email lists, correct? So it's best, Johnny, if you at least have a 1-2 punch. All right. And we try to make that affordable. Now, with that said, all right. And I've seen this so many times. All right. Where, hey, I've been on social media and it didn't work. Right. We all hear that. Right. Or, hey, I've done emails that didn't work. Right. And I think it's because they did that and it didn't work it's not going to work, right? They get this notion in their heads, right? Well, we back up and say, okay, how much did you actually budget on social media?
Yeah.
How many days were you posting, right? And we get the typical response. Well, we post once a week.
There you go.
Okay. Well, then why don't you just open your doors to your business that one day and just go home for the rest of the week, right? Right. Okay.
So true.
Or if you get 10 customers into your business, just talk to one of them. Let the other 9 just ramble about, right? Right. Now I'm being facetious, but I'm trying to make a point here,
So
right?
true.
Then I go over here to emails, right? So why didn't your email work? I don't know. I said, well, how many did you send out in week 1? Well, we sent 1. Wrong. It takes 8 times for the average consumer or purchaser to see your message in email to finally click and go, what the hell is this? Right? So they're either going to block you out or they got to see that message with different subject lines, different points of interest that have to do that. Make sense?
For sure. That's a really interesting statistic. I didn't know that. That is very interesting because you know that we do a massive amount of email marketing. We base everything on a cost per lead. And you're absolutely right. Constantly changing the marketing material, the message, and especially the subject line to get in front of these individuals is absolutely the way forward. Very interesting, that, Pat. I learned something there.
That's absolutely. And let me add something to that, Johnny. Our method, our deployment is normally in a new launch. Let's call this a new launch. Okay. We do 3 week 1, and we don't do Monday and we don't do Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll hit it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the first week.
Busiest
the
days.
Second week, we'll do it 2 times. Okay. Probably a Tuesday and a Thursday. Okay. Right. Then the 3rd week, we hit them again. Then the 4th week, we hit them 1 more time. Now, if we don't get anything by that 4th week, I know we've hit them now 8 times, right? Then I put them on the back burner for a later email down the road. So they either opt out of me and they're not interested at all, which is fine. Okay. Or if I don't get an opt out after week 4, I know there's interest there. They're just not ready yet. So they go back into our retargeting, remarketing.
Yeah, that's really interesting stuff. And I know that a lot of the listeners listening at that point are going to learn something from their own individual marketing there. You know, I was going to ask you, okay, we're obviously we're very lucky to have some great clients, myself and you guys, who are spending a nice chunk of money with us on lead generation and marketing. But what advice would you give to kind of startup companies that haven't got big budgets for marketing and leads? Where would they maximize their lead generation and their brand awareness and presence?
Another great question, Johnny. The success is in their process and their systems on the back end. Okay. We've got, and I'm going to give you an example of 2 different clients. Okay. We had many discussions with one client about having a sales software program in place to be able to download all the leads, right?
Yeah.
For follow-up calls, for follow-up remarketing, right? And within 1 week, we generated hundreds of leads. Well, they had nobody to respond to these people in social media. They had no process in place to download the data for remarketing, right? So their processes and systems were hell.
Yeah.
So we took the responsible approach and we shut them down, okay? Because I knew it was doing nothing but burning leads and burning money, okay? So I said, you guys ain't ready, all right? And then we gave them a list of several things they need to do, and they're on hiatus right now to do that. Now, we have another one, which is the one I just told you about, that we're knocking the socks off of here in a short period of time. They have the ACT software program. They have 3 officers from the company responding to these leads immediately. If you don't respond to these leads immediately, they go cold fast.
So true.
Okay.
Got to be on them the next 2 hours.
Right. So it doesn't matter if you have a big, small budget or whatever, but if we get you 10 leads or 1,000 leads, right? Your job is to maximize those 10 or those 1,000. Now, we can help you with that if you're willing to accept that help. Make sense?
Yeah, for sure. No, that's really helpful. And you're absolutely right. The whole back end of your business has to be synchronized and working to the best of your ability. If it isn't, marketing's going to be a complete waste of money. I wouldn't even
totally.
touch it. Yeah.
Totally. In college, one of the greatest things I learned was in my management by objectives class. And there was an acronym called POAC, POAC. And I still live it and breathe it to this day, which stands for plan, organize, activate, and control.
Wow.
POAC.
Please send me an email on that, because that's a great piece of content that I can potentially use. No, that's brilliant. Hey, just before we're kind of finishing off, Pat, tell me, who has been your mentor behind the whole advertising world, and what have you learned from that person?
Johnny, I really don't have a mentor. I really don't. I've never looked to this person and say, I want to be like this person, or I've kind of just navigated my life based on just being me.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I'm a winner. I'm committed. I'm hardworking, smart. But I guess my biggest differentiator is that I care. You have to really care in this business.
For
all
sure.
right. And I think my partner, Alex, and both Ed will tell you that I'm on the phone with them now that we're out of the offices, obviously. And even when we're in the offices, before and after work, how are we doing? How's this client? What's this client doing? Alex, did we do this? What can we do better? So it's a constant drive. And I have to give that back to my father. Be a winner, be out there. And I was a captain of the basketball team, pitcher in the baseball team, the right wing inside. So I've learned through sports what leadership and life and winning and caring and being part of a team is all about. Okay. So, and another philosophy, and I know we're ending this up, I get a kick out of this word motivation, motivate. Yeah. Okay. Bullshit. It's not about motivation. Okay. That's a push, and it's short term. Here, I'm going to give you $1,000 if you sell this deal. Okay. So you're motivated on Friday. Monday, I can't get you to fucking work on time. Right.
Yeah.
So it's about inspiration. If you can inspire people with your will, your desire to win and to be successful, that permeates. It's like osmosis. Okay. If you can inspire somebody, they're inspired on Friday, and they're even more inspired to come back to work on Monday. All right. And I don't need to write a check for $1,000. Make sense?
I absolutely love it. And I so want to join your team. We are we're on the right level here, Pat. Hey, just before we go, tell us what's going to be coming up for Exceller Agency. What are you going to be working on? And can you tell the listeners where they can find you?
Yeah, pretty much you can go to Zella Agency, which is my partner's name, Alex, spelled backwards.
Right.
So it's XELA agency.com. And on there, you can actually see all the different divisions and things that we do. But right now, Johnny, we're focused primarily in 3 areas. Obviously, the Zella Agency, our parent, into social digital marketing, working with local, regional, or national accounts, and some international. The second thing we're doing is, I always believe in philanthropic work, causal marketing. We have a company, an organization called protectallschools.org that raises money for schools to purchase and acquire school safety alert systems.
Yes.
That was prompted by my youngest daughter, who was involved in the Parkland shooting where 17 were murdered. So that's in honor of her. And our most recent launch, and this is due to the experiences that I've had and a few others with on the team, is Wolf Partners, which is our capital raise business. During my time at Zimmerman, and everybody asked me, when the hell did you ever have the time to do this? I launched a marketing roll-up called Bike Street USA, bicycle shops, where I raised $7 million and purchased 17 stores and was doing a national roll-up. So we did that. I did some fundraising for other companies and capital raise. So I have a lot of experience in that area. And I think the timing before even COVID-19, I think the timing, there's so many really cool businesses, technology, ideas, really a lot of cool things out there. But venture capitalists just isn't the way to go today. And angel investors are inundated with this stuff. Yeah. So what we do at Wolf is we write your PPM, we write your business plan, we put together all the marketing, we put the subscription together, we put the marketing website together, so we do all that work for you, and then we launch it to the appropriate potential investors. So Wolf Partners, and quite frankly, we started this just several months ago, and already we're dealing with like 6 major capital raises. And this one's been fun. This is a fun one. I had a lot of cool ideas, some cool companies.
Absolutely fantastic. And look, ourselves at Next Generation and myself are really excited to be working closely with you guys. And I'm just very excited for the future, Pat. There's lots we can do together, and I'm really excited for you guys and everything that you've accomplished so far. Absolutely.
And Jonathan, I want to ditto that too, okay? Because in a world of a lot of empty suits and under promises and under delivers, it's been a pleasure to work with you, because everything we've seen with our clients as well, where you're engaged as well, I've seen that same mindset, that same attitude, that same thing, get it done and let's be successful, and how are we doing, and all the right questions. So our partnership has been a tremendous one, and I look forward to future endeavors together. You got a great company, and you're a great leader too as well, Jonathan.
Guys, welcome back to the Johny Pach Show. That was my guest all the way from Florida, Patregnani. What a lovely guy. He's got that kind of mafioso American twang. Hey guys, if you're a business leader and entrepreneur, I really hope you got something from that podcast, something quite constructive and inspirational around your current marketing and advertising. I really hope you learned something from that. I mean, he's the former CEO of Zimmerman Advertising, a $3 billion company. Don't forget. He was discussing massive ad campaign contracts, the likes of Nissan, Papa John's, White Castle. I've got to try those burgers the next time I'm over in the US. There is a White Castle on the corner of every street. I even asked him, I said, Pat, what is the best and the most perfect marketing strategy for your business? And you know what he said to me? There isn't one. But then I did manage to extract his 10 top tips for marketing. And he mentioned stuff like know your customer, know your competition, be flexible, prepare to adapt, make quicker decisions, be consistent, excellence in customer experience, create an internal culture, show up work early, leave late. And then he mentioned the hello factor. I love that. Great stuff from Pat there. Guys, once again, I am interviewing the most incredible minds globally. People within advertising, within investment, real estate, spiritual leaders. I've done a fantastic interview with a global charity who are helping to save the oceans. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming around very, very soon. Once again, my show is here to inspire you. and motivate you with anything that you're doing, not only in business, but your own well-being as well. That's episode 2. If you loved it, share as much as you can. Comment. We always want to hear your comments, whether that be on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. Please leave us a review. We want to know we're doing the right thing and we're giving back to you lovely people. I hope you're all amazing. Guys, stay safe, stay well, and please tune in for the next one. This is Johny Pach, signing out.